right? Meditation is a language that the soul learns. And so our language is different. It's called Brahma Kumaris Rajyoga. And what we do is we stabilize the mind in a spiritual concept. If you want a gift, right? If you want something to do with your life, you have to get on this journey of self-discovery, this journey of who you are, what are your strengths, what are your tests, the limitations of the belief. The most limiting thing that you can give to yourself is the labels you're born with, the labels of gender, the labels of race, the label of religion. Spirituality is something where you go beyond the labels. Physically, right? Physically, if you try to go after happiness, you cannot go get happiness, because happiness is not like a product like that you can go get. It's a consequence of a lot of things you have to do in your life. So happiness or contentment or success or any of these, they are a result, a consequence of certain conditions being met. And those conditions are just to be able to become a self-sovereign.
Hi, I'm Kaavya Ramani, a Bollywood actress, best-selling author, and a success mentor based in New York. Manifest WishCraft Conversations is a podcast series on manifestation where I explore the true meaning of success through conversations with inspiring people from around the world. This podcast is also available on Spotify. If this resonates with you, please subscribe, like, and share this episode with 3 more people. It might change their life and yours too. To learn more and be a part of this growing global movement, please search Manifest with Kaavya Ramani. This is my website. Enjoy the episode! Hello and welcome to Manifest WishCraft Conversations, sponsored by Mind Matrix Global LLC New York, empowering transformation, manifestation, and human potential worldwide. In association with Human Light Foundation, New York, spreading awareness, purpose, and conscious living for a better future. Today's guest is an extraordinary spiritual teacher and meditation expert, Sister Shireen Chada from Brahma Kumaris, USA, with over 32 years of dedicated practice with Brahma Kumaris and more than 22,000 hours of meditation experience. She embodies deep wisdom and inner transformation. She's the author of 8 powerful books on meditation, including Experiencing God, Soul Fitness, and Awakening from the Matrix. Sister Shireen has created a rich body of spiritual content, from meditation albums to transformative audio courses, making spiritual growth accessible to people at every stage of life. She facilitates immersive retreats and workshops worldwide, offering direct experiences of higher consciousness. And as the co host of Spiritual Sense podcast creator and the creator of Release Your Wings YouTube channel, she continues to inspire global audience, and currently she serves as the director of the Brahma Kumaris Meditation Center in Tampa, Florida, guiding seekers towards clarity, peace, and deeper purpose in today's digital age. That is a very long introduction. Please welcome Sister Shireen. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. I'm so happy to be here with you, Kaavya. So
Same
happy.
here. My pleasure to have you on my podcast. And my very first podcast episode was with the Sister Anjani. And today, having you here makes me really very happy, because my connection with Brahma Kumaris personally has been a really deep one and a spiritual one, because the ideas that I follow are all, aligned with what Brahma Kumaris is providing to the seekers. And it's going to be a really interesting and amazing podcast, especially for me, knowing more about your thoughts and your, inspiring seekings. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's been a long day, but really good. How about you? Did you go to school today?
I did go to school, and right now I'm right here having a great time. And so we're gonna jump right into the questionnaire section. Starting with your spiritual journey, right? The beginning of it. How did your spiritual journey begin, and what led you to this path?
Um, I started um, when I was about 24. And I started on this path because somehow I was feeling a certain kind of emptiness. Nothing as such was going on in my life that would make me feel that way, but somehow, like deep down, it kept coming up. And so, and also at the same time, I was feeling the sorrow of the world. I was experiencing the sorrow of the world. And interestingly enough, I went to rent a car. And when I went to rent a car, I saw this brochure in the car rental place. And the first sentence was, "Are you experiencing the sorrow of the world?" And I was like, what? How do they know? Right? And so I picked up the brochure and I called the number, and it was to the meditation course, the Brahma Kumaris meditation course. So I'm from India, but I studied here in the US. And so, and I never heard of the Brahma Kumaris when I was in the US, in India, right? Never heard about it. I found the Brahma Kumaris in the US. And so when I went to the center and I heard about the knowledge, I had such deep experiences. And I thought, this is it. This is for me. And I didn't look back.
You certainly did not. And I see now that I see the whole journey of yours, and we're gonna of course talk more about it right here with, over 32 years of experience of practice and 22,000 hours of meditation experience. That's a lot of time, to be honest. And how has
Yeah, it
this
feels like
meditation...
that to you, doesn't it?
Say it again.
It feels like that for you, right? Because of your age, it feels like that.
It kind of does, because that's like more than, I don't know, days, more than months. That's, I guess, more than years too. And um how has this meditation kind of transformed your inner and outer life as a whole?
Um, I want to share something, right? So at that time in the Brahma Kumaris, so this was in 1994, 95, way before you were born. Um, so what happened at that time in the Brahma Kumaris is there were not that many Indians coming to the centers. Now we have a lot of Indians coming to the centers. And so someone was visiting from India. And the instructor at that point, our teacher, Sister Dorothy at that point, said, "Oh, I want you to come and translate for this sister who's coming from India." And I said, "My Hindi is not that great." But she said, "No, no, no, just come, and she'll feel comfortable because if you're there, all of those things." So I went along, right? I went to the center. And she started talking such high Hindi. I'm first not comfortable with Hindi. And then she started talking like totally like spiritual Hindi. And I could not translate a word. Not only I couldn't translate a word, I couldn't, my mind wasn't fixing on what she was saying, right? She was saying one sentence and my mind would go wander off. And then there was another sent, and then by the time I came back, the two sentences were gone. I was like totally all over the place. And it was such a disaster, right? I really wanted the earth to open up and for me to just go inside because all these people were looking at me and I'm thinking, oh my God. More than the Hindi, right? My mind was not stop wandering. And then over the years, right now, when I look back, I find that very funny, but also my mind stopped wandering, right? Now I can clearly see what's happening, right? I can really be present here with people when I'm here with people. Whoever I'm in front of, I'm present with them. And I feel that's the biggest thing that meditation has given me.
And the being present always is kind of what you're experiencing right now. And I feel that too, because meditation is something that brings your concentration in one place. You bring your concentration to one part of your body, to one thought, to your breath, right, as you say. And do you want to explain a little bit about what you think is the best way to meditate? Because many times people think meditation is music. Some people think meditation is silence. Something is breathing. Something is talking. It's a lot of things. So, what is ideal meditation for, according to you?
There are several kinds of meditation, right? There's the mindfulness meditation. There is the, watching your breath and holding your breath, or, there are different kinds, right? Kundalini, this, that. So what we practice is the Brahma Kumaris meditation. And so, which is different from all the other kinds of meditation. It's just like a language, right? Meditation is a language that the soul learns. And so our language is different. It's called Brahma Kumaris Rajyoga. And what we do is we stabilize the mind in a spiritual concept. And the spiritual concept, and the first one is that I'm a spiritual being. And that has to be a very stable experience, that I am a spiritual being. And then from there, we connect with the Supreme Soul. And so that connection is called, actually, that link is a very loving link. And that link is actually called yoga, right? Nowadays, people, when you say yoga, they think these asanas and these mats and these things. But that's not what yoga actually means. Those are just physical asanas. Yoga actually means link. And so in our meditation, we have the soul has a loving link with the Supreme Soul. And that loving link is like a two-way link, right? There's a soul on one side, Supreme Soul on one side. There's a two-way link. And so that is also part of our meditation. And we also meditate on virtues, on powers, on the way time is, what is the time going on, all of that. So we meditate on a lot of those things. So we have a body of knowledge, and we meditate on the body of knowledge.
Wow. So all you're trying to say here is that connecting to that supreme power and trying to feel that the spiritual being is you yourself, and trying to be that kind of belief in you. You have to have that belief in you that you are the spiritual being. You are capable of becoming the person you want to be, and that's where kind of breaking the limits comes into the picture. Because many times I have seen a lot of times that people are really limiting themselves, and their beliefs are kind of really limited, and they think they're not capable
Absolutely.
of certain things, and that just kind of stops them from doing what they're actually able to do. But meditation kind of brings them to this edge where they can break free, they can break their limitations and explore what they think they can't do, but they can actually do, right? And coming back
Absolutely.
to the questions, you have written a lot of books on meditation, on consciousness. There's a lot of, knowledge and wisdom in books, as we say, and writing multiple books in the lifetime is a really great achievement. How can the books that you've written, how can they practically help people in their daily lives? And give us a little insight into those books.
Our meditation, right, is really very practical. It's about how to bring spirituality into your daily life. That's what our meditation really is about. And all my books are like that, right? It's not some esoteric thing that you'll take 100 years to understand. No, it's very, very practical. For example, one of my books is on the virtues. So there are 39 virtues. It's called Oh My Goodness. And there are 39 virtues, and every virtue has a meditation with the virtue. So not only an essay, a small essay on the virtue, but also a meditation on the virtue. And so when you read that, when you read the essay and when you read the meditation, that becomes part of your life, right? When you do the meditation, you really sit and connect and do the meditation, it becomes part of your life. And so that's just one of the books, right? All of them are very, very practical. Experiencing God, again, is very practical. How to become a soul, how to remember the Supreme Soul and really experience. It's 40 meditations on that. There's soul fitness, which is how to really connect with yourself as a spiritual being instead of the body. And so each of them is a very practical aspect of spirituality.
Perfect. One of them is called, forgive me if it's wrong, but one of them is called True Hollywood Blockbuster. Am I right? So it kind
Right.
of caught my eye, and I think many of us who are watching right here are thinking, what inspired you to name it this, and what is in that book? And because I don't think there's a connection between Blockbuster and I mean, you probably are gonna prove that there is a connection, but we don't think of anything that connects, spirituality and Hollywood. But go ahead.
So actually, there's a lot of connection. So all of the highest grossing Hollywood movies, right? All of them.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take Avatar or even Matrix. Have you seen Avatar? Okay. So Avatar, or have you seen the Matrix? No.
I haven't.
Okay. All right. So Avatar, let's take Avatar, right? So any of them, Star Wars, Avatar, all these movies,
Mm-hmm.
they actually follow something called the hero's journey. And the hero's journey is there's a hero. Usually it goes like this. There's a hero and he refuses to go. He's called to action, right? He's called to do something with his life. And he says, no, 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 I'm fine with my life. I don't need to go, right? So Jake Sully is the hero and he doesn't want to go to Pandora. And then he ends up going because of his twin brother. And so he goes, he has a call to action. And then he goes on this journey. And on the journey, he meets mentors who will help him, right? Then he'll have tests. And then he will have dragons he has to fight, right? He has all of those things. And then at some point, it's like the biggest fight of his life, right? And then he wins. And then he comes back with this gift for the world, right? If he didn't go on that journey, would there be a gift? No, there wouldn't be a gift. You can't just sit in your living room and think there'll be a gift, right? You have to go on the journey. And so in spirituality, also, we have to go on the hero's journey. And so the hero's journey in spirituality is that you're sitting in your ordinary living room and scrolling, looking at TikTok. Do you look at TikTok, Kaavya?
I don't have TikTok.
Okay. It's really bad for you, huh? Okay. So it really messes up your mind. But anyway, any of those social media, right? Instagram, TikTok, they're all just totally mess up your mind. Anyway, so you're sitting in your room doing TikTok. Are you going anyplace? No, you're not going anyplace. If you want a gift, right? If you want something to do with your life, you have to get on this journey of self-discovery, this journey of who you are, what are your strengths, what are your tests, how you know that really God will be there for you when you come through your tests. All of that is going to happen. So that's what their book is really about.
Wow.
Is how to get off your tushy and do some work. Real work.
Exactly. And you have mentioned a beautiful thing right here, that go on the hero journey to then get the gifts and make an impact for the world. And I have talked a lot of times about making an impact in the world, doing something that helps people, doing something as a service, as a help to the community. And always we talk about how we can, always do it online or donate and stuff. But then the actual value is when you or yourself giving knowledge or giving that kind of information to people, so they themselves can use that to come up, to rise and to grow, and then they can make their impact in the world too. So this is kind of a chain that you're trying to make over here, right? Like, you go on that journey, you grab a gift, you give that to people, they grow, they gain that gift, they give it to people, and we all rise as a whole to,
Absolutely.
in a whole we grow and we achieve
Right.
what we want, and we all are positive. And
right. And also some self-transformation is needed, right? On the journey, self-transformation is needed.
yes,
You were talking about limitations, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I have a lot of limitations, and sometimes you don't even know you have that limitation till you go on the journey, right?
Yes.
But sometimes you have the limitation, sometimes you don't. You discover, oh, that's my limitation. But whatever it is, you go on the journey and you become free of limits, absolutely free of limits. And then the gift, and then sharing those gifts with others.
Yes. So it's like you do one thing, but you achieve two goals. You're transforming your inner self, and along with that, you're able to help your surrounding people too.
Absolutely.
Yes, and spirituality and meditation, they both are truly, very truly connected. You know, and they're also connected to manifestation, in fact, because it always helps to, whole big umbrella is spirituality, and under it comes manifestation, under it comes meditation, and all of these things come together to help us become successful in lives. So how does this connection work actually, and what do you think helps us manifest better in terms of spirituality?
I want to share two stories with you, but let me share one story first, the first story first. And so there is a man in India, or he could be anywhere, a man, right? There's a man, and there is a hypnotist. And the hypnotist is hypnotizing the man into thinking he is a buffalo. Have you seen a buffalo? Okay. If you haven't seen a buffalo, let's use the word cow. So he's hypnotizing the man into thinking he's a cow, right? You're a big bad cow, you're a cow, you're a cow. And after, it takes time, but over time, the man gets totally hypnotized into thinking he's a cow, right? So now the hypnotist says, I want you to walk through that door. And now he's really thinking he's a cow, right? So he tells the man, no, I can't walk through the door. The door is too small for me, right? Why did the door is the same, the man is the same. What happened? His belief about who he is has changed. And because his belief about who he is has changed, he has bring on the limitations of the belief, right? And so the limitations of the belief, the most limiting thing that you can give to yourself is the labels you're born with. The labels of gender, the labels of race, the label of religion, the label of even a body, the label of age, the label of all of these things, right? They're labels. And spirituality is something where you go beyond the labels. And I'll give you an example. So if I think I am an Indian woman, what's going to happen? All because I'm hypnotized into thinking I'm an Indian woman, all of the limitations, all of the centuries of baggage. You might not know this. You look very young and you are very young. You might not know this, but there's centuries of baggage with Indian women, right? The oppression and all of that, right? So if I keep thinking I'm an Indian woman, what's going to happen? I will take on all of the limitations of being an Indian woman. I will take all of this on. And that is so limiting and so oppressive. And people don't even realize how oppressive that is. And spirituality is about getting rid of that oppression, liberating yourself from that, and realizing you're a soul. You're a beautiful, eternal soul who's a diamond. You are not constrained and limited by all of these things. So once you start realizing and once you start stabilizing in being a soul, then your limitations slowly, they go away. So
Yes,
that's one
and
story.
yeah, go ahead. I want to know this second story too. It's like amazing.
Okay, the second story is actually a real story. So Dadi Janki was the head of the Brahma Kumaris from 2007 to 2020. And she was born in Sindh, Pakistan, in 1916, right? And Dadi was the most amazing soul ever. She was the one soul who went beyond all limits. So so the first part of her life, she took care of centers in India and did a lot of service. And then when she was about 62, 63 or something like that, she came to London to open centers outside of India, right? She didn't know the language. Oh, and by the way, Dadi had education till third grade. That's it. Because that time her father didn't want her to, study that, all of that. So she only studied till third grade. That's it. And so when she came to the England, which was in her 60s, she doesn't have an education, she doesn't know the language, she doesn't know anything, right? So she started the Brahma Kumaris centers in the West. You have to go see the centers in London, what she has created, right? So she didn't say, oh, I'm old now, let me go retire. She didn't say that. She went and did it. And not only that, right? When she was 92, she became the head of the Brahma Kumaris. Can you believe this? And so much travel. So when she passed, right, we say became Avyakt. When she became Avyakt, she was 104 years old. And that year, so she, just when COVID hit, she passed. She became Avyakt. But that year, right, so March 27th, she became Avyakt. In the beginning of the year, she went traveling to so many places, so many countries. And
Wow.
so that's who Dadi was. She had no limits. Like the full potential of who she was completely there. And she was so caring, so wonderful, right? So spiritual. And why was she able to do all of that? Not only because she went beyond the limits of being an Indian woman, of gender, all that nonsense, gone. And she was a spiritual being. She always felt she was a child of God and that God was her backbone. She always felt that God was her backbone. She was very, very deeply in love with God, and everything was done as an instrument of God, right? She was a total instrument of God. And that's why she was able to accomplish what she was. And so those are the kinds of things that actually get you out of limits, right? Just go out of limits.
Yes, and that shield that people have created around themselves, that wall that I cannot do outside of this, is what is stopping them from, becoming what they want to, because they think, okay, this is my limit, I can't cross it. But if you try to cross it, if you keep a step out of it, you realize that it is not actually a wall. It's an illusion, it's a hallucination, or is it's just my beliefs that are making me, limit to these boundaries. And these
Yeah.
examples that you gave are on point, and they're exactly how people can, be inspired from, to learn that these walls should be broken and you should step outside the comfort zone, as we call it, and do what you are potentially able to do, right? And we talk about manifestation here because limiting yourselves and breaking those limits and going out of the box is what manifestation is about. Thinking out of the box and thinking and visualizing and manifesting, which is, you don't think, which you deserve, but you actually do, because all these positive vibes and aura that you have around yourself makes you capable of achieving your manifested dreams. So what do you think manifestation truly means in your perspective?
I feel before even physical manifestation, right? I mean, we all need physical things, right? We need, good school to go to. We need good houses to stay in, safe neighborhoods, clean air. I'm not talking about that. I'm sure those are very necessary. I'm not saying they're not, but I don't think we should focus just on physical things, because it's very important to understand something. So I do a lot of research, right? So before I was doing this completely, I'm doing full-time Brahma Kumaris. But before I was doing full-time Brahma Kumaris, I would do part-time Brahma Kumaris, and part-time I was a research faculty at the University of South Florida. And I would do a lot of research. So that research has brought me, even in now, I keep doing a lot of research. And the research on happiness is very clear. And the research on happiness is so clear, they call it baseline, right? Baseline happiness. So let's say you have a baseline happiness and you won the lottery, right? So what's going to happen?
It's going to
Your
rise.
baseline will increase, right? Your happiness will increase. So let's say a year from now, where will your happiness be? The lottery winners. They'll
Maybe the
come
same.
back. They'll come back to baseline. They'll come back to baseline. And so, and the other thing which is very important to understand is, let's say you weren't expecting to have gallbladder surgery, right? And the doctor says, no, you need to come in and have gallbladder surgery. And you're like, oh, my whole life is over. I need to have gallbladder surgery, right? You can totally think, oh, life is over, right? So people who, so let's say this is their baseline happiness, right? And people who became paralyzed. So what happens to them? Their happiness comes down, right? A year later, what happens to them? They come back to their baseline. So it doesn't matter whether you win the lottery, you will come back to your baseline in a year. If you become whatever, paralyzed, you'll come back to your baseline in a year. You will find the happiness. You will come back to your baseline. You won't be in the dumps forever. So when you see this research, what it shows is we have to be careful about what we want, what we go after. Because what is the most important thing, Kaavya, in this whole story? That we have to increase our baseline. We have to slowly and slowly increase our baseline, because that's the only thing that's going to go with us. Absolutely only thing that's going to go in life with us is this baseline. Because I win the lottery, I come back down. Something happens, I come back up, right? So what is it that we need to do? We have to increase our baseline happiness without external things, without depending on anything, that my happiness should not go away. Whatever happens, my happiness shouldn't go away, and I should keep increasing it. And I feel there's no other method than spiritual method, really. You can't keep increasing your happiness, right? Because let's say I really love going for a massage. Do you like going for a massage?
Everybody does.
Everyone does. So let's say I love going for a massage, right? And someone comes and tells me, hey, you can take the day off and go. This is a $200 certificate. Go get a massage, right? You'll be so happy, so happy. Yay, I'm going and getting a massage. And you go and get a massage, right? And you're ecstatic and you love every part of the massage and you love the music. You love these aroma candles. Everything is wonderful, right? Next day, someone comes and tells you again, hey, here's $200. You can go get a massage. Guess what? You will not be as happy as the first day. So that goes on for, let's say, 1 week, right? Every day someone comes and says, hey, you can go get a massage, right? So by the seventh day, you don't like the aroma, you don't like the candles, you don't like the music, you don't like the way that lady is doing the massage, and you're totally upset. Because those all depend on the baseline. And so physically, right? Physically, if you try to go after happiness, you cannot go get happiness, because happiness is like not like a product like that you can go get. It's a consequence of a lot of things you have to do in your life. And those things are possible by having a spiritual life. Because everything else, it's called the law of diminishing returns, right? Diminishing returns. Like the more you do it, you're not going to get more. It just reduces and reduces and reduces.
Wow. And like the way you explained this whole concept is amazing, because the way I say it is that success comes and goes, right? We said the same thing. Materialistic happiness, as we call it, comes and goes. But the thing that stays with us is our own feelings, is our own state of mind, which is what we need to maintain to a certain level. And obviously, manifestation has to happen mentally to a really great extent, because only then you're going to be able to sustain that success, right? As you say, because we see a lot of times many people achieve success, but then they're not able to handle that. What can we say? That kind of experience and that kind of atmosphere. They're so overwhelmed by it, or it gets to their head, kind of, we can say, and then they come back down. It happens a lot, right? But then
Absolutely happens a lot.
yes, and achieving success and being able to sustain that is what we need to do by maintaining the mental state of positive and happiness, right? But how
Right.
would you explain if you want to sustain that happiness to a great level, and the link between your thoughts and the energy and reality creation, and how can they shape our real life experiences through manifestation?
The thing that we have to really remember is that we have to define what success is, right? Because you yourself said sometimes success will go to your head. You have to really define what success is. So let's say I define success as I have a private jet and I go to parties all the time and whatever, right? I have so much money, this and that. But one thing we have to know is that that kind of high octane life, right? Where you're, constantly, in the pursuit of physical pleasure, and in pursuit of material things, right, is not permanent, because they are not permanent, right? You cannot base something permanent on an impermanent thing. They're physical things that they're going to change. So how can you have a permanent happiness on impermanent things? And the most important thing is the lifestyle. That's how you maintain good in whatever state you're in. How, if success, no success, the lifestyle has to be the right lifestyle. The lifestyle has to be a sustainable lifestyle, of a healthy lifestyle, where you live with your principles, you live meditation, you do your work, you have inner work, you meet people, you serve people. That has to be a kind of lifestyle. That's the lifestyle that will give it to you.
Yes, and as we talk about success, as you said, we need to define what success means. And I think it means it's different things for different people. Some people want cars in their lives, buildings and offices and business. And there are some people who want happiness in life, which is what success means for them. And so it's important that you add the mental aspect of life into your list of success, right? Because if you have the outer materialistic things in the world all you want, but you don't have that peace, that state of calm and collected being in yourself, it's not gonna you're not gonna be able to enjoy the outer materialistic things that you have, right? And so
Right.
some kind of practical ways, if you could give us, to kind of raise our vibration in our daily lives to maintain that inner calm being.
I want to share a story with you. It's from the Ramayana. Have you heard about the Ramayana, Kavya?
Yes.
Right? Okay. So, in the Ramayana, in the beginning, actually, this is in the beginning of the story, there is a great sage. So, let's call him Sage, right? His name is Vashishta. You might not remember the name, but Vashishta. So, he's a great sage, right? And a king called Vishwamitra comes to his ashram. So, Vashishta is a great sage and he lives in an ashram, and his ashram is thriving, right? Thriving, happening place, right? And they, in the ashram, Vashishta has a cow, and the cow's name is Kamdhenu. Kamdhenu means wish fulfilling cow. So he has a wish fulfilling cow. And I'll tell you a little bit about the wish fulfilling cow in a minute. So this king comes, Vishwamitra comes, king, and he comes with this whole army, right? Tens of thousands of people and horses and chariots and everything. And he's actually passing by and he wants to say hello to the sage. So he comes to say hello. And Vashishta offers him hospitality and says, have a meal, right? And Vishwamitra looks at the ashram and says, no, it's okay because there are tens of thousands of people to be fed, right? We will be on our way. And he says, no, have a meal. So the next time he asks, the king says, fine, I will have a meal. So the sage calls the cow and says, produce 6 kinds of food. And so the cow produces 6 kinds of food, and all of the tens of thousands of elephants and horses and soldiers and everyone is fed. And the king also has never eaten this good food before in his life, right? So he's very happy. And now he's looking at the cow. I'm like, oh my God, that cow. And he decides, right? The king decides the cow needs to be in the kingdom. It needs to serve the whole kingdom. What is it doing in this little ashram here, right? And so he goes to Vishwamitra and says, I will buy the cow from you. I'll give you, so much land, so much gold, so much, right? I'll buy the cow from you. And Vashishta says, the cow is not mine to give. The cow belongs in the ashram. And he says, no, I can buy the cow from you. And he increases the price. And the sage says, no, the cow is not for sale. He's not mine to give. She's not mine to give. She's going to stay here. So the king gets very upset. And he tries to forcefully take the cow. And so the cow and the sage are able to be, with their spiritual powers, right? They're able to defend themselves. And before long, all of the king's armies and everyone is dead on the king's side. And so now the king is standing in ruins, looking at the cow and Vashishta, the sage. And he says, what you have is so much more than what I have, right? I have treasury and gold and all of that, but what you have is like spiritual power. So he goes off, the king goes off and sits in deep tapasya for some time. But what is the cow, right? What does the cow represent for us? The cow is that contentment, it's that happiness, it's that success. But the cow doesn't go everywhere. The cow is the consequence of that tapasya, that deep calm, that practice, the meditation practice the sage has been doing for decades and decades, that is the result. You have the cow, right? It's like, you can say, the contentment or the happiness or the success. The cow is that. The cow doesn't just come because you want success. The cow doesn't come. The cow comes when you maintain the ashram, when you make your mind into an ashram. That's when the cow comes. So happiness or contentment or success or any of these, they are a result, a consequence of certain conditions being met. And those conditions are just to be able to become a self-sovereign, to be a sovereign over your mind, to be able to stay in silence, to be able to connect with the Supreme Soul, to be able to use your mind to serve other people. That is what we need to do now, right? That's what is needed. And when we do that, then success or contentment or happiness, or whatever you need, will come.
Yes. And kind of having that patience to have that belief and that consistency to then achieve that success also matters a lot, right? Because
Right,
when we look
absolutely.
at meditation, when we look at certain practices, we see that, oh, it's working for someone else, it'll work for me too. Yes, it will work. And when they try it out, within maybe first or second try, they're like, this is not working, I'm gonna leave it, I'm gonna give up. Or something along those lines happens all the time. But having that consistency and that belief in the process kind of matters the most, right? And that patience and determination when the results and manifestation feel really slow matters a lot. And so
Absolutely.
how is that consistency and that determination, how can that come in a person?
Consistency is, you just get up and do it. Don't give yourself options, right? Don't give yourself, oh, if I don't do it, it's okay, right? Oh, I did 2 days, I don't need to do the third day, right? We don't do that. You have to understand that not wanting to do is not a permanent thing. So it's a little uncomfortable in the beginning. It's called riding the wave. When it gets uncomfortable, you just watch it. You put a 10-minute timer, actually, 10-minute timer, and you watch it and watch it and watch it. And after 10 minutes, the feeling goes away. I don't want to do it. And then you just sit down and do it. You have to surf. It's called urge surfing. You have to surf. You don't give in to the urge. You just watch as a detached observer, and then you'll be able to do it. It's actually the secret. You have to be able to do things that are not comfortable, right? You have to go beyond your comfort zone. And that is the secret. The secret is, you have to urge surf. You don't give in to the urge. You just say, okay, no. I don't need to do this now. I don't need to do this now. And eventually you will be able to let it go and keep to your consistent habit.
Yes. And all of these things come together for, again, I say this a lot, but it comes together to serve the community, because what we attain is going to impact others too. Because if a lamp is switched on, right, it's not just serving to itself, because lamp is not going to benefit itself. It's going to benefit the people, like, the area around it. It's going to give the light around it. And that's how it all works. Because if I am achieving or attaining that inner bliss or inner peace, as I call it, or happiness, I'm going to spread it. I'm going to be the source for that happiness. I'm going to spread that happiness around the people, among those people who I know, who I interact with, and they're going to spend a happy day and a happy life because I am in contact with them. So it's kind of a selfless act when you do this. And of course, there's benefit for yourself, benefit for the world, and all comes together. But sometimes you need to surrender. Sometimes you need to just go with the flow, because
Absolutely.
keeping on and going on with efforts is, I mean, it's a good thing to do. But then many times people kind of pressurize or get anxious while doing things, and they think of whether I'm doing the right thing or not. They overthink their decisions, and they do a lot of things that are not necessary. And to kind of avoid that, surrender, as we call it, is important in achieving
Absolutely.
what we desire and what we need as well. So,
Right.
what role does it play, and how do you do this?
Now, one thing we have to notice is surrender is not a strategy, right? We're not strategizing, oh, let's surrender so we can get something, right? That's not what surrender is. Surrender is where you're really trusting the unfolding, right? So let's say the sun rises, the seeds are planted, we get food, flowers come up. Are we micromanaging all of those things in our life? No, they're doing, nature is doing, the seasons are coming, all of that is happening, right? In the same way, in our life also, there is a greater intelligence at work, and we have to surrender to that greater intelligence. We call it the drama. And so just surrender it to that, right? Because it is to your benefit. Everything that happens is for your benefit. And surrender is not a strategy. It's not like, oh, if I surrender, things will go the way I want it to go. No. You surrender, whatever happens, you will be held by the Supreme. That's what is going to happen. Whatever happens, you will be held by the Supreme.
Yes, and um, perfect. I mean, the whole podcast, as I see and I look back at the conversation that we had, is kind of a whole recipe, as we call it, for inner alignment and uh, manifesting and success and happiness and peace and the bliss I talked about. But when we talk about alignment, as I just said, how do you stay spiritually and mentally aligned in today's fast paced world, especially in the digital world? Because we have technology all around us, this fast paced AI has come, and all of the people around us are going fast, and it's all rushing. But we, or the person who is listening to this podcast, is the only one who wants to spiritually align. So for that person, they can't change the world. They have to change themselves, or at least build that shield, as we say. So how do you stay spiritually aligned in this world?
Find one path, right? Don't go buffet, this one, this one, this one, this one. No, because nothing is going to come out of that, right? Find one path and go deep. That's how you stay spiritually aligned. Is whatever path calls you, you find that path and you go deep in that path.
Yes, going with one particular path is really important, because step one for one path can be something, but it could be different for the second path. And if you keep switching, you're going to miss a lot of things, and you're going to overdo a lot of things, which is also not good. And you're right, absolutely right, that choosing a single path and choosing the right thing for you and for your own personality and the thing that suits you the most is really important. And thank you so much for your really insightful conversations. But now we move towards our section of the Fast Five round. This is kind of a rapid fire round, I can say. And I'm going to ask you five questions. You're going to answer in one word, one sentence, like that. Okay? You ready?
I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready, but I'm ready.
Oh, I know you're gonna do it. Based on the conversation we had, I'm like, you're really knowledgeable, and this is gonna be really easy for you. So yeah, your go-to daily spiritual practice.
We call it the Swadharsan Chakra practice. I can't say more than that, right?
We're gonna talk
It's
about this
called
later.
okay, Swadharsan Chakra practice.
Perfect. One habit that creates the biggest positive shift in life.
Stop scrolling.
Perfect.
Stop using social media. Stop using
Yes.
social media.
Yes.
Don't do any of the social media.
One word for the highest vibration emotion.
Love.
Wow. An instant reset technique when you're feeling low.
I remember how much God loves me.
Yes. One message for someone who wants success and inner peace.
Pick one path.
Yes, as we talked about it, pick one path. Perfect. The section ends here, and I'm really curious about the practice you said, Swadharsan Chakra Kriya.
Okay, so it's called Swadharsan Chakra. So
Okay.
Swadharsan Chakra, or you could say five forms, where you see yourself through the whole cycle of time. So you don't just see yourself as Shireen, or don't just see yourself as Kaavya. You see yourself in the soul world. You see yourself in the golden and silver ages. You see yourself in the copper and iron ages. You see yourself as an angel, like that, right? So when you keep doing this practice, what happens is you get away from your one limited life and you feel so expansive, and that deep transformation happens in that. Like you don't get trapped in the minutia of life.
Yes. That's a beautiful practice to do, and in fact it helps us stay consistent and active in our daily lives also, right? One of
Absolutely.
the last questions I would love to ask you is that what is your one powerful message for the people who want to succeed and create their own dream lives?
Get on a spiritual path. Remember you're a soul. Remember the supreme soul, right? That connection takes you away from all your limits.
Yes. um Again, before we let you go, another last question that I want to ask you. I have been wanting to, and I'm trying to spread as more as awareness I can in the world, in the people who want to succeed in life, trying to give them the knowledge that they need to succeed in life. And I think, I mean, this is just a little thing that I'm trying to do through this podcast, but I think there's a lot and lot more that I want to explore as a whole, so that people can have that first hand knowledge to achieve what they want in life. But according to you, what do you think this podcast series that I'm doing, how helpful could this be to people?
Oh, it's so super helpful. And you're so adorable. Oh my God, I shouldn't say that. And I'm sure you're thinking, oh, why is she saying that? But you're so cute. It's not just that you're cute, but this is so helpful and you're so on point, and everything you're sharing is so wonderful. Kavya, keep going, right?
Thank you
It's
so much.
going to benefit people. Don't worry. If it's not today, tomorrow, someday it will benefit people. And
That's
don't be too don't get caught up in the numbers, right? Oh, the podcast only this many views today. That don't do that. Surrender that. That's what we need to surrender, right? You
perfect.
do the best, and then the rest you surrender.
Yes, I have surrendered to what I believe in the universe. It's this is okay. I'm gonna take 2 minutes over here and explain what I think is my life right now, because um, it's really beautiful what I'm experiencing right now. The reason why I'm doing this podcast series is because I have experienced that first-hand support from the universe, or from the ultimate power, as whatever we believe in. And the manifestation that has happened as a miracle in my life, it's not that I've not worked hard, but along with that, the support that you have, it's as if it has picked me up and put me where I wanted to be. It's not even that I had to, go through all of that, because the vibe and the positive energy that I try to keep around myself has helped me achieve what I want in life. And of course, there's a lot more that I have to do and I want to do in life right now. I mean, I'm just 16, so there's the whole life in front of me right now. So yeah, but I just want to say that age is just a number over here. And people who are watching, people who are
It's
watching,
easy for you to say at 16, but go ahead.
I just want to say that thinking that you're not capable of doing something is not what you should do. Because initially I thought, oh my god, even if I do have at least a little bit of knowledge, I thought maybe there's someone else who could do it better. But when I tried doing the podcast, when I tried to show what I have, try to convey my messages, I figured out that this is what I want to do. This is where I belong. And finding where you belong is the most important thing in your life. And going with your passion and being comfortable in what you do as a career is also important. And as we see over here, Sister Shireen has pursued her path with a very, very spiritual angle to it. And this conversation has really been truly enlightening and deeply inspiring. And Sister Shireen, your wisdom on meditation, on spirituality and manifestation has given us the practical tools to create a more aligned and purposeful life. And thank you so much for sharing your journey and powerful insights with our audience. And to everyone who's watching right here, remember, your thoughts, your energy, and your belief shape your reality. Stay consistent, trust the process, keep growing spiritually, and do not forget to subscribe to Manifest WishCraft Conversations for more such empowering episodes. Thank you so much, Sister Shireen. Would you like to say anything to the audience before we let you go?
No, thank you for having me. I feel very privileged and honored to be here.
It's my honor to have you. Thank you so much.